Good day, astro enthusiast. It's Kaipacha with the weekly Pele Report for August 27th of the great year 2025 that will go down in the annals of history. Oh my goodness. You probably want to know what's going on this week because right now that moon is in Libra, but by tonight here in Costa Rica, she's going into Scorpio. Yeah, investigating the mysteries of life, of death, of the occult, of the secret, of the underworld, of the shadow. And she's going to remain there right on through the weekend into Sagittarius on Saturday. And then, boop, boop, da-dun-dun-dun. Depending on where you are, in the Pacific, it's going to be Saturday night. On the east coast of the United States, it's going to be Sunday morning. But we are going to have that moon in Sagittarius at the 8th degree, 7 minutes. I'm going to read to you then, of course, the 9th degree of the Sabian symbol for that square moon. And then she's going to move on through Sag and Monday go into Capricorn. Now, what else is going on, you might ask? And you have a full right to be interested. Today, Venus opposite Pluto. Remember, she went into Leo. She's at the very beginning opposing Pluto in Aquarius. Big time, intense. Tomorrow, Uranus is exactly sextile Neptune. Of course, that is going on for quite some time. Both of those big bad boys move very slowly, so they've been sextile for quite a while, right? Okay, and they will continue to be sextile. In addition to that, on Sunday, we are going to have Mercury. If you recall, Mercury is moving along the late degrees of Leo, fire, trining Chiron on Sunday, just before going into Virgo on Tuesday. So we have that changing signs, right? And yeah, it's really something. I mean, Venus just changed signs, Mercury is changing signs, and definitely a big one is on Monday, and I'm going to talk about this extensively. Saturn goes retrograde back into Pisces again. Yes, indeed. He spent 3 months in Aries, got tired of it, and said, I'm going back to the sea. In this case, it's the Caribbean. Ow! Yeah, baby. All things return to the great mother. Oh, man. I don't know where I'm going to sit because these waves are kind of noisy. But I will find a nice spot, look at the camera, and talk to you all about the astrology of this week. Hasta pronto. Hola, everybody. ¿Cómo está? We got some caballeros on la playa. Okay, perfectly fitting for some of the themes I'm going to be going into in this week's Pele Report, and is what is going on in the stars with the Sabian symbol, with the mantra, if you've read it. There is this whole realm of social integration. Let's look at it. Not only are the moon's nodes in Virgo Pisces, which I call the initiation axis. Yes, Virgo is a sign of initiation. From that individual, I am the sun, center of the universe, Leo, and it's all about my creative expression. Virgo humbles Leo and says, you got to serve somebody. You need to integrate yourself into society. It's not all about you. It's very interesting that the whole second half of the zodiac, from Libra to Pisces, is all about social integration, and then beyond that into cosmic spiritual integration. So, half of our evolution has to do with our own subjective internal development, and the other is how to get along. How to get along with a mate, with a partner, with your parents, with your kids, with your boss, with the government, with whatever religion, or just how to get along with society at large. And this process of integration is extremely important to the total evolutionary intention of any impulse, okay, of any new desire. It goes through all 12 of these steps of the evolutionary process. And Saturn and Jupiter are these social planets, and they are very, very important. And Saturn is your role, your office, your reputation, your duty, your responsibility to your family, to your company, to your workplace, to your neighbors, to your city, to your state, to your country. So Saturn lays a lot of obligations on us, a lot of duties, a lot of need for commitment and dedication and objective development. Interesting now to have Jupiter in Cancer, which is my inner child, my subjective personal development. Okay, and what makes me comfy, cozy, feeling nurtured and warm and safe and protected. And now Saturn retrograding back into Pisces, the collective unconscious, the waters of Neptune, Pisces, Poseidon, okay, the infinite spiritual, yes, intelligence, the oneness, the love, the chaos, the multidimensional, inexplainable synchronicities that happen in our lives, the magic, the magician. So it's really something now. It was in late May, about 3 months ago, that Saturn, came into Aries, came within minutes of Neptune, and now is going retrograde and wants to go back into Pisces, where it's going to go back to 25 degrees of Pisces. If you've got anything between 25:09 minutes, okay, the last 5 degrees of Pisces, or the last 5 degrees of the mutable signs in particular, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius, okay, you're getting triggered big time, okay, with this Saturn retrograde. And then November 28th, it goes direct and doesn't come back into Pisces until Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day 2026. Ow! Saturn joins Neptune at the very first degree of the zodiac. What does this mean? What is this about? Let's look at it. Saturn is goals, goal setting. It's a commitment to establishing a future, ideal, committing to that ideal and then striving towards it, right? So it comes into Aries. And these last 3 months, I hope that you have really come into a place of deciding, this is who I want to be. This is where I'm going. This job, this country, this relationship, going solo, okay, doing my inner work, joining this company, leaving that job, whatever. But this has been a 3-month period of, kind of envisioning where I want to be 7, 14, 21, 28 years from now. We are starting a new 28-year cycle. Let's say that you want to go to France and you live outside of Europe. Yeah? I want to go to France. That's my goal. I've always wanted to live in France. If you know anybody like that. Anyway, yeah. You may have had that inspiration. Okay, you know, that goal, it's like, okay, yeah, this is going to take me where I want to be, right? Now Saturn goes retrograde, back into Pisces. Reflect, remove, remodel. Yes, go back into Pisces for 6 months, folks. This is 6 months of, well, if I want to go to France, I have to quit this job. I have to sell my house. I have to get, a job over there. I have to da-da-da-da-da. I've got to say goodbye to everybody. I've got to sell my car and my clothes, or I decide what to pack and what to leave and da-da-da. This is a 6-month period of adjustment. Big time adjustment that has to do with removing, surrendering, closing, completing a last 28-year cycle of your life. A change in lifestyle. A change in identity. I could be retiring. I could be starting a new career. I could be changing career. I mean, this is big. And the bigger it is, the longer it takes. So, man, oh man, do we ever get to stew in our juices, baby? Oh my God. Is this not the slowest freaking year ever? It's like, when is this going to let up? When is this going to change? When am I coming out of the jungle? Oh, where's the beach? Fuck. So, and along with that, Saturn is also asking us, and now we get into this Venus opposite Pluto, because Pluto is also asking this of us. The age of Aquarius, the next 2,000 years, is asking this of us. Pluto, for the next 20 years, is asking us to function as a social being, as a responsible member of a community. Aquarius. And here's Venus in Leo. I want to dance, I want to sing, I want to be adored, I want the trumpets to go off. Hey everybody, da 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 da. Let's party. And it's opposite this Pluto that is saying, whoa, the whole world is changing. And it's not easy. And the rebirth requires a meltdown. And it's heavy. And it's intense. And whether it's your personal, intimate, sexual, emotional, beloved relationship and intimate partnership, whether it's losing someone that you love, whether it's not being able to have that baby that you want, whether it's, so much about life and death and deep, deep alchemical transformation through merging. How to merge without losing yourself, right? But being able to be vulnerable and expose yourself. And then even go beyond that, Black Moon and, Black Moon Lilith, in a grand trine right now in Scorpio with these water signs. But yeah, this Pluto is asking us, and now I want to read you the Sabian symbol, because this is very, very important. This is very, very powerful. Yes? The 9th degree of Sagittarius is none other than a mother leads her small child step by step up a steep stairway. The need in any social situation to assist the less evolved in their management of the problems which society requires its members to solve. A staircase does not present a natural difficulty to a very young child. We build stairs and therefore are responsible for assisting the child to climb them step by step. Social and cultural living is not natural. The child must first be taught by example, then helped along as he imitates as well as he can the grown-up's behavior. Climbing stairs is only an illustration of a general process. Every generation must involve itself in teaching the next even the simplest skills needed for social existence. In a preceding Sabian symbol, we saw parents encouraging a little child to walk. Walking is a natural human function. Climbing stairs is a skill made necessary by the building of several storied houses, a product of civilization. What is implied here is social concern for the less evolved of society's members. You know, Pisces and Virgo both have to do with service. Pisces is egoless. It has to do with sacrifice. It has to do with compassion for the less fortunate. Saturn going in here is our responsibility to those less fortunate. Amazingly enough, as I was driving across Costa Rica to get out to the beach here, I listened to this podcast by my favorite comedian, Trevor Noah, and he interviewed Scott Galloway, who is amazing. I mean, there's things, of course, that, you know, will bother you. They bothered me. But the guy is a phenomenal. He's got so many statistics, right? You know, just like, bam, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. And it kind of starts out political. Okay, but the last part of it is about men growing up. And how the young men, I remember one of the statistics was 51% of teenage boys have not been able to ask a girl on a date. That the masculine, and especially young men, are going through a huge, traumatic, scary experience. Having no purpose. They're turning to porn because it's just easier and they don't need social skills to get turned on. They're not finding the dream, okay, that they were promised as babies, as kids, or whatever, okay, that you'll be able, to, grow up and have a job and succeed and have a family and da 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 da. I mean, none of it's happening. And he even compares. I mean, he's a university professor at New York, State. But he compares, Sweden, and Trevor Noah's from South Africa. I mean, they talk about the global view. This isn't just the United States. It is a global phenomena that the rise of the feminine, women are making more money, women are getting hired, women are advancing, women are, graduating. There's more, I think, university women now than university men. I mean, it's like the women are blowing the socks off the guys. It's not funny. I shouldn't laugh. It's tragic is what it is. And, it really brings to mind the need, for us. This first half, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, is all about I, me, my strength, my money, my resources, my education, my family, my creativity, blah, 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 blah. Here comes Virgo and says, hey, come out of your bad self. Get a job. Integrate yourself into society. Get your health and your body together so that you are worth something and attractive and strong enough to, provide or be, provide some safety, security, predictability to a mate, to a partner, that you've got something. Virgo's the sign of apprenticeship. Maybe you need to be an apprentice, or you need to get a degree, or you need to be trained, get certified, in something, so that you can be socially recognized, so that you can really step into a role and be compensated for what you give and have an interaction, have a relationship, with the community at large. I mean, first it's personal, but it expands through Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, into the global society, until finally Pisces, into the spiritual oneness of all creation. But it's a step-by-step process. And I find it also very interesting. How much time have I got? Okay, I'll go into this a little bit. I mean, I've gone into it before. I go into it in my school. Yeah, my online school, the New Paradigm School of Astrology. It's a 3-year program to get certified. But, I've gone into this in the Pele Report before. And this is the evolutionary stages. Yeah? Because the Sabian symbol speaks of that the more highly evolved, it is the responsibility of the more highly evolved souls to turn around and teach and heal and counsel and serve the younger generation or the less evolved souls. And I know that this triggers people, particularly in the United States. The Declaration of Independence says all men are created equal. So when we come into evolutionary stages based upon the laws of reincarnation that Dane Rudhyar first came up with and Jeffrey Wolf Green expounded upon extensively, we have the consensus ruled by Saturn, 3 out of 4 people. And then that breaks off into the individuated, 1 out of 5 people. And then that breaks into the spiritual, 5%, 1 out of 20 people. Yeah? So you break that down, and we spend many hundreds of lifetimes moving through, becoming more aware, breaking free of social, cultural, religious conditioning into our individuated, unique genius. And then coming out of that ego, arrogant genius down into the heart of compassionate Buddha. And then turning around like Buddha or Jesus or Allah or Gurdjieff or Steiner or anybody. Edgar Cayce, you become a healer teacher. Mercury trine Chiron this week in the very last degrees of Leo. So part of taking up the mantle of being a king or being a queen is to step into those big shoes and be a father, be a leader. Yeah, build your business, build, a following, whatever it is, a clientele, and prepare yourself for Virgo. It's very sobering because times are so difficult. As this week's mantra says, there's a lot of things going south, okay? we are in disaster mode. The extinction event, the ring of fire, the Pacific ring of fire, all the volcanoes going off. I swear this Uranus coming into trine Pluto. Pluto rules volcanoes. Uranus is sudden eruptions, and the trine makes it easy. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this. The sun is being far more active than ever before, sending, micronovas. I mean, we are in a period, the poles are shifting faster than ever before. Society is changing, crumbling, falling apart. The economy, whether you want to blame politicians or climate change, global warming, whatever. The pharmaceutical companies, the United Nations, you name it, one thing or another, all the wars that are going on. I mean, we are facing a human catastrophe. This is the end, not just of a Saturn 28-year cycle. Like I've spoken of before, this Saturn-Neptune, has not been here conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries in thousands and thousands of years. This is the end of a paradigm. And it is the birth. We know it's coming. AI is coming. Yeah, we know billionaires. That's the other thing these guys get into. Materialism. Steiner talked about materialism. Ahriman, materialism. The rich people can do anything and are not held accountable for anything, get away with everything. And it's the end of the middle class. I mean, this is going to create ultimately tremendous rebellion, because Aquarius wants to level the playing field, and it rules revolution and rebellion. So we can see it coming, and it's not going to be pretty. And we need to toughen up and not just contract. I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to get my property out in the woods. I'm going to get a stash of food for 6 months. I'm going to build a bomb shelter to protect me from the solar rays. I'm going to, me and my family. I want to encourage each and every one of us. We're only going to do this together. We are being called into community. We are being called into teamwork. We are being called into cooperation. And the more you know, the more responsible you are to share your knowledge, your skills, your love. The bigger your heart, the more you can love. The more life will ask you to love. You can bet on it. So yeah. The world is swinging to the negative pole, getting more dangerous all the time. It's not enough to take care of myself when so many others are falling behind. This is what Scott Galloway mentioned. There is nothing more dangerous than a young man with no purpose and no love relationship in his life. These two major factors, Libra and Capricorn, right? Well, and Sagittarius. I mean, there is more involved, but this is very, very, very powerful and very important. We are getting, we are creating, antisocial, paranoid, sociopathic, neurotic, psychotic, with all of the drugs and all of the, lack of interaction, screen time instead of socializing, No physical contact, no touch. No just coming out to the beach to go swimming. Why is this beach empty? Where is everybody? On their freaking screen, man. Ah! Oh, anyway. Don't get me started, man. So, yeah. Be a big brother. Be a big sister. Donate your time, energy, money, personality, following. But, give it up. Give it out. This week's song, Teach Your Children Well. I know it's an oldie moldy. And I'm not going to sing it. Well, how does it go again? Teach your children well. A child's hell will slowly go by. And feed them on your dreams. The ones they pick. The ones you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh. And you know they love you. It's when I first learned guitar. That was one of my first songs. It was a long time ago. Mantra one more time. And drum roll. The world is swinging to the negative pole. Getting more dangerous all the time. It's not enough to take care of myself when so many others are falling behind. Let's all work together to create a new paradigm. Namaste. Aloha. So much love. Ow!